we're going to find the slope of a table. So remember, slope is a change in the y values over the change in the x values. So in a table, we have x values and y values. And remember, together, the x value and y value that are right across from each other, they make up a point. So we have 3 points here. So we're just going to find the slope between them. So to find the slope, we're going to do the change in the y values. So if I look at this first point, to go from, on the y values, to go from 6 to 10, I just look at what's happening. Well, if you're at 6 to get to 10, you're going to add 4. So that means the change in the y values is positive 4. Then I look at the change in the x values between the same two pair of points. To go from -2 to -4, you're going to subtract 2. So the change in the x value is -2. 4 divided by -2 is -2. And so our slope is -2. It doesn't matter which pair of points you choose to find the slope between. As long as this is linear, a straight line, the slope will be the same between any two pair of points. So let's just look at the slope between the last two pair. So to go from 10 to 14, you're going to add 4. So the slope is still positive 4. Or the change in y is positive 4 on top. To go from -4 to -6, it is -2. And -4 over -2 is still -2. So the slope between each pair of points is the same because this will be a straight line. Let's try another one. So I always start with the y side because change in y is on top when you're looking at slope. So to go from 7 to 4, we're going to subtract 3. So the change in y is -3. To go from -3 to -1, we're going to add 2, so positive 2. So the slope is -3 over 2. And again, if you want to double check yourself, make sure it's linear. Look at the next pair of points. To go from 4 to -2, we're going to subtract 6. So our slope on top is -6 over. To go from -1 to positive 3, you're going to add 4. So plus 4 or positive 4 on bottom. So you might be saying, well, those are different values. But if I reduce this, I can divide top and bottom by 2. -6 divided by 2 is -3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. It's actually the same thing. So as long as you can reduce it and it's the same value, the slope is exactly the same. So it is linear. It's a straight line when graphed. All right, go ahead and try 2 on your own, just like the ones we just did. When you're ready, I'll go through the answers with you. All right, so the slope of the first one, we have -1. Change in y is -1. Change in x, we have +2, so -1/2. And again, you can see you would have -1 and +2. So between these 2 points, it still would be -1/2. And number 2, slope. To go from 8 to 10, you're going to subtract 2. To go from 5 to 2, you're going to subtract 3. -2 over -3 is positive 2 over positive 3. And just to double check, to go from 8 to 4, you're going to subtract 4. To go from 2 to -4, you subtract 6. So you have -4 over -6, which does also reduce to 2/3. So you know your slope is 2/3. Hopefully you're able to find the slope of the tables.